Welcome back to Awana, TNT, Sparks, and Cubbies. It's February 17th, 2021. Our lesson is, I'd love to do this for you. February is not only the month when we celebrate love, it's also Black History Month. So before our lesson, let's pause to reflect on the history of Black history in America. The celebration of Black History Month began as Negro History Week, which was created in 1926 by Carter G. Woodson, a noted African-American historian, scholar, educator, and publisher. It became a month-long celebration in 1976. The month of February was chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Black History Month honors the contributions of African Americans to the U.S. history. Among prominent figures are Madam C.J. Walker, who was the first U.S. woman to become a self-made millionaire. George Washington Carver, who derived nearly 300 products from the peanut. Rosa Parks, who sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and galvanized the civil rights movement, and Shirley Chisholm, who was the first African-American woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. Also, on February 12, 2019, the NAACP marked its 110th anniversary. Spurred by growing racial violence in the early 20th century, and particularly by 1908 race riots in Springfield, Illinois, a group of African-American leaders joined together to form a new permanent civil rights organization, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. February 12, 1909 was chosen because it was the centennial anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. Currently, the Black population in the United States is 43.8 million. Here are some recent accomplishments of Black Americans. The first Black billionaire. Before Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan joined the Billionaires Club, Robert Johnson became the first African-American billionaire when he sold the cable station he founded, Black Entertainment Television, BET, in 2001. The first Black president. In 2008, Barack Obama became the first Black president of the United States. The first Black vice president. In 2021, Kamala Harris became the first woman of African or Asian descent to become vice president. Harris's mother immigrated to the United States from India, and her father immigrated from Jamaica. Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murder. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated is a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada, whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and by vigilantes. Lastly, it seems more fitting that the first week of Black History Month, Stacey Abrams has been nominated for the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize. The purpose of Black History Month is continued engagement with history because it helps give content for the present. It's an opportunity to understand Black historians, go beyond stories of racism and slavery, and to spotlight Black achievement. This year's theme for Black History Month is the Black family: representation, identity, and diversity. What will you and your family do to spotlight Black history this month? Now to our lesson. If you don't already have them, you'll need a notepad and a Bible. TNT, Sparks, and Cubbies will receive Awana points when you recite Galatians 5:13 at our virtual meeting on February 24th, 2021. All right, I'd like to do this for you. First, let's discover what it was like to be a young boy or girl living in another place and time. How many of you have read any of the Little House books or seen it on television? We have a lot of information about farm and frontier life thanks to Laura Ingalls Wilder. Laura's famous story about her life is in her Little House books. She also wrote what it is like for her husband, Almanzo, to grow up on a farm. His story is in Laura's Farmer book. But wait, before we get into a story about Almanzo, here is something you maybe didn't know about Laura Ingalls Wilder. If she came to join our Awana Club, you would want her on your team. She would get a lot of points for saying scriptures. Laura liked to memorize scripture, and one time she said 52 verses at once. And because of that, she won a Sunday school contest and received a Bible. She kept that Bible all her life. Now back to Almanzo. When he was young, he helped to take care of the family farm. He made many chores look easy. Every morning he got up at 4 o'clock to milk the cows. He had 2 calves of his own that he trained to work together as a team. The calves grew and were used by the family to plow fields and grow food. In those days, water had to be carried from the spring or the creek. Children usually carried 2 buckets of water at the time. If you only carry 1 bucket, you would lose your balance. Children had to chop and gather wood for cooking and heating, and they would help in the fields to gather eggs and lots of other things. Almanzo helped his mom with her chores. He picked fresh berries in the spring so she could make pies for his family. He helped make butter, and everyone in the family helped to make the ice cream. Just like you, Almanzo didn't always feel like doing his chores. He once asked his father why they had to do so much work when the machine could help to thrash the wheat and chop the wheat. A thresher is what farmers use to separate the wheat from the chaff. Wheat seeds are good for flour, and chaff is only good to grind up and feed to the animals. 3 other farmers near the Wilder farm had been using a machine to thresh their wheat. The machine could only thresh an entire grain of crop in only 3 days. Almanzo's dad has seen the machine at work. He told Almanzo that it chewed up the straw, making it unfit for the livestock to eat. He also said it spread grain around, wasting what could have been used. Almanzo's dad said, all it saves is time. And what good is time with nothing to do? Life wasn't always work and no play. Almanzo's favorite thing to do was spend time with his horses. His future wife, Laura, also helped her family. She helped with the spring planting and with bringing in the harvest. She liked helping Ma churn the butter and baking. But she still had time for climbing trees, riding her horse, sledding down the big hill, and listening to Pa tell stories and sing. Children in those days did have fun, but they knew that helping their family was important too. Think about all the work they had to do, all the work you have to do, like emptying the dishwasher or making your bed. It's not all that difficult after all, is it? What about children in the Bible? How did they help their families? David was in charge of protecting the family's sheep. Some days, watching sheep probably wasn't that exciting. Other days, there were very exciting and dangerous things to do. A lion or a bear might come after one of the sheep. Once when David was rescuing the sheep from a lion, the lion attacked David, and David grabbed the lion by its mane and killed it. That is definitely not something you want to do at home. Samuel, a young boy who didn't live with his mom or dad, he worked for Eli, a priest in the temple of the Lord. He probably did things like open and shut the doors of the temple and light the temple lights. To read more about Samuel and Eli, check out 1 Samuel chapter 1 through 2:26. The orphan Esther, she lived with her cousins. Mordecai, before she became a queen, she probably helped her uncle just as she was told to do, acting as his daughter. Her story is in the book of Esther. Maybe you are like Esther and you live with another family member, or like Samuel and you live with a guardian. Some of you might live with just your own mom or just your dad, or some of you might live with both parents. In any case, you live with people who either are family or are like family. Just for fun, let's call this person or these persons somebody. Who is somebody to you? You don't have to answer that question out loud or raise your hand. Just think about it for a few seconds. Have you ever thought about that somebody and all that they do to serve you? Somebody makes the dinner, somebody fixes things in the house, somebody does the laundry, somebody pays the bills, somebody puts gas in the car, somebody goes to work to make money, and somebody makes sure you get enough sleep at night. Somebody takes you to the emergency room when you fall off your skateboard. What about you? What do you do for the other person in the house or the other people? Let's talk for a few minutes about the things that you already do to serve your family. Do you take care of your family pet? Do you help fix things around the house? Do you help put away the dishes? Do you help cook dinner? Do you take out the trash? In the Bible, God gives us instructions to serve each other. In Galatians 5:13, the Bible tells us to serve one another. But not only does he tell us to serve one another, he tells us to do it in love. Let's say somebody tells you to clean the garage. Are you sweeping the floor and straightening the garden equipment because of love? Or are you mumbling and complaining the entire time you're working? Are you cleaning because you know if you don't, you'll be grounded for 2 weeks? Or are you cleaning because you're showing love? How about trying this experiment? Try to do 2 or things this week to help somebody, anybody in your family. Here's a rhyme to help you remember to keep a good attitude when you're serving. Repeat after me. Serving others is fun. Before I know it, the job's all done. That's the end of our lesson for this week. Review the verses, rewatch the videos, review the questions to prepare for the bingo game on February 24th. See you virtually at our next Zoom meeting on February 24th. God bless you.